I am Vinnie Tortorich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Deborah Harry, Blondie, call me. Yeah, from back in the day. You know, whenever I play that music, it means one thing and one thing only. It means it's a Friday show, and we're doing the Friday call-in version of the show. And without any further ado, we're going to bring him right in. I'm talking about my good buddy, Mr. Chris Shaffer. How you doing, Chris?
Loving the new thunderous applause, Vinny. That 2026 applause update.
Yeah. Well, you know,
if nothing else works from an audio perspective, but you got better clapping going.
Yeah, well, I have two applause. Like that's kind of like the regular applause. Now you heard what that sounded like, right? Yeah, it kind of sounds like you're in a jazz club or something, and you just played, you know, like a really good jazz thing. All right, that's where we're headed. Chris, call-in show, and I'm excited because, you know, I'm sure we're going to get questions about the workout, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I noticed that most of the people on the call-in today are dudes, and we just put out all the new workouts, so you know. I got a feeling we're going to get some of those questions. We're going to probably get some New Year's updates and what have you. So I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about today. You want to just jump into it, or you got something you want to say?
Yeah, let's jump into it, man.
All right. We're going to start with Lee. Lee, if you're ready to come in the room, give us a big old thumbs up and I'll pull you in. There he is. Oh, hey, boy.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Lee, I see you got the old school hat on. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's the.
I believe this is the first batch.
Yeah, that's the blue one, the navy blue. And you know, people have asked me to bring that back, but you know, this sounds vapid, and it is vapid, but it's the only thing that happened to me with the California fires. Is our very own Leona, who designs the hats and they work on the hats and what have you. Leona, she was affected by the fires last January, right? So I haven't wanted to give Leona more work than she needs right now. Yeah, she already gets enough hassle. And if that's not bad enough, our very own Debbie, who actually ships the hats out, she's been a bit under the weather. So people keep saying, hey, when are we going to get a new hat, a new T-shirt? Yeah, something. What you got to realize is those things aren't really money makers for us. Not that money is what matters, but you know, we put them out because it's a morale booster. And like you have your, look, I got my gray one right here, you know, right here on my desk, right? This is like the second or third gen hat. And people love the hats. They love when we do T-shirts and what have you. But I need Debbie 100%, and I need Leona to not have. Can you believe a year ago? Can you imagine a year ago, your whole neighborhood burned down, and her house was like one of three in her neighborhood that remained standing.
You're affected, even if your house wasn't. If your neighborhood's burnt down, that's not a good thing.
Oh, you know, the smoke. You're dealing with the smoke. You're dealing with. She had to get a whole new garage. There were parts of her house that were damaged, even though it didn't burn to the ground. All of that had to be done. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Had to go in to just getting her house up to snuff again. Snuff is probably not a good word to use when you're talking about burnt houses, but I mean, look, that's why we had that guy on, the Jasper guy. Right, because it started with Leona. She was like, I don't know how we're going to get the smell out of my house. And I started looking for smoke remediation. And, you know, I found Michael Felstein. Next thing you know, I'm doing business with Jasper. That came out of the fire, too. As a matter of fact, let me get that ad out of the way because they're paying to be on this show. I've been talking about it for months. Now you guys need to get it, the Jasper. Now, listen, the discount was $400 saving on each unit. They couldn't keep that going forever. but it's still a great discount at $300 off just by putting my name in the promo box at the end. Or when you go to Jasper, you can go to jasper.co/Vinnie. As soon as they see that, you get $300 off. Now you'll go, wait a minute, Vinnie, feel like I'm getting gypped. It was $400. Guess what? One day there will be zero discount on these and you'll pay the whole freight. They couldn't keep that deal going. They were actually losing money. It's called the loss leader. You guys know what that means. It's still a great discount. Go right now, get yourself a Jasper. We had people buy as many as 4 of them with the $400 discount. One guy bought 6. I'd love to know what size his mansion is. At any rate, maybe he brought some to work. I don't know, put some in his house, what have you. Go get yourself a Jasper. You will not be disappointed. Jasper, JASPR, there's no .co/Vinnie. Or you could put Vinnie in the discount box at the bottom. All right, back with the show. We're talking to Lee Harrington. Lee, what's on your mind today, brother?
I thought I would see if you wanted to talk about using AI to ask health questions and the problems with it and how to overcome those problems. Because I think everyone's already doing it, right? So the better we help people use it, the better results. Because you can get excellent results, but you can get really crappy results too. And it's not, the AI is neutral. It has no opinions. It has no convictions. It just has training data. And the training data is everything on the internet, every book, every written, right? So when I'm talking about health, I'm talking about diet, and then it's like, oh, well, eating fat causes heart disease. No, it doesn't. So then I'm arguing with the AI for an hour, like, what about this? And Teichel says that, and all these things. And then the next time I'd have to have that argument all over again. And so go ahead. Tell me if you're interested, because if you're interested, we can.
I'm very interested in this, and I'm glad you brought this up because I go to AI and ask questions that I actually know. Like, if you pull up AI, who's Vinnie Tortorich, right? Like, I know who I am, so I want to see what AI has to say about me. They get a lot of things right. They get a lot of things wrong.
Yep.
Right. So when you look, and I'm going to actually, because Chris Shaffer is somewhat of an expert in this. So Chris, you can pod your mic up and add to this in a second. And I wish you would. AI is pulling from what's already there. And some of the biggest, and Chris might correct me on this, some of the biggest places it's pulling from is Reddit and Wikipedia,
yep,
which are notoriously wrong about, I don't know, everything.
Yeah.
Right. So if, and I think AI is going to get better, right? This conversation will not hold up in 6 months or a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, because I think AI is going to get better and better and better. But right now, it's not even close. I was looking up, I'm interested in buying a new pair of roller skates because I'm a big old fat kid. Right. And I want a different brand and a different thing. So I went to AI, but I'd already done a bunch of research. And AI got probably 30 or 40% of the research I had done already correct. And the other 65 or 70% got wrong. Right. And so, and AI is smart enough to go according to, Reddit, or according to this, or according to that. I don't think most people look that far into what it is. Do you?
Well, my opinion of what most people do matches yours, which is why I wanted to do this talk, right? Because it's not hard. With a little extra understanding of how these things work, you can get much better output. So just go ahead and say, when you're prompting, when I'm talking to the AI, first of all, I'm going to give it a persona, play the role of, and then I never say doctor, because then it's going to say, I'm not a doctor. I know you're not a doctor. I know you're not my doctor. So play the role of health educator, right? So now that'll get past some of its whining. And then I give it, I want to speak about health from the perspective of Vinnie Tortorich, Dr. Jason Fung, Dr. Jeb Nadas, I give it the people that I've read the books. This is my perspective. I'm not going, I don't want the entire internet's opinion. I want these people's point of view.
But hang on, Lee. Let me stop you there, because you see, you already have knowledge, and you're trying to get AI to fit into your knowledge base.
Right.
But if you didn't have the knowledge, if you didn't know who Jason Fung was, or Vinnie, or Nina Teichos, and you just said, "Hey, AI, what's the best diet?" Chris, in the background, just go ask AI, "What's the best diet?" or something like that, and see what it says. And then play it against, hey, what is the best diet according to Vinnie, Tortorich, and Nina Teichos, and see what it says then. So, Chris, I'm giving you 2 assignments there. Let's see if we can pull that up. But you understand what I'm saying, Lee? You went into AI with some knowledge.
I have knowledge, and there is no solution for someone who has zero knowledge. But your fans, they're listening to you, they can at least say, I heard this speaker on Vinnie. I heard, Vinnie himself. So you can even ask the AI, give me the constellation of people that are in line with, say, Vinnie Tortorich. Again, this is your fan base, right? So you can do research along those lines and then say, okay, from these. So if you didn't know, like I just named off people, but if you didn't know who those people were, you could ask the AI. And I'm gonna skip down to the bottom here. There's some steps in between. It's never an authoritative source.
Right.
So after you've had a good conversation and it's given you recommendations, you then need to go read up on all those things yourself, because it really does hallucinate. It really does give terrible advice because it has terrible data. So you, like when I have glaucoma, right? The doctor says, nothing you can do about it except hope that it doesn't get worse. Take these eye drops. But they're no like, eat this, do this exercise. It's not known as a metabolic disease. Okay. So I still go and I say, you'll play the role of functional medicine advocate. Here is my concern. What are the choices? What could be? And so there's a list of like 4 or 5 supplements that I take now. ALA, benfotiamine, but I didn't just take its recommendations and then just start taking pills. I then researched each one of those to make sure that it didn't just invent them. The other thing I do is I use other AIs. So this AI said this, and what do you say? And I get them debating each other. But
wait, let me ask another question in there, because I was going to bring that up too. If you just Google something and they have their AI thing up there, I find that that's the weakest source.
Yes.
And I think people look at Elon Musk as being political, and I guess he is, but I find that the Grok one seems to be more robust. And my question becomes, why is the Grok more robust than the one that Google is showing me at the top of the page? Is someone, what's going on there? Or do you know?
It's not about smartness. It's about philosophy and intent. Like, in other words, brilliant people are on all these companies. Some companies run themselves like they don't want anything remotely biased or racist or out of like. You can say, oh, I asked this question and I got this racist answer. I'm going to go on Twitter and tell the world that Grok or Gemini or ChatGPT is racist. They're trying to avoid that, right? So Grok is designed more to not care as much about those things, so that you can, but it still needs to be steered. You still need to play the role of, this is my perspective I want to talk from, if you generally want to have a talk from a perspective. If you're just doing basic research, then, again, doing multiple ones. The ones that's in Google all by itself, like you went to Google, you didn't go to the AI, you just went, you did a search and it does the AI summary at the top. That's probably the lowest quality of all the because it's got to handle 1 billion people searching all the time. It's not the smartest model. If you say see, always do research afterwards, and then create your own text file of who you are. I'm Lee Harrington. I'm this old. I have these medical concerns. This is my medical history, and I feed that as well, because the information you might give a 20-year-old is not what you're going to give a 60-year-old, right? So it's people think, well, isn't the AI supposed to be smart? Shouldn't it think of all this stuff? And I'm like, I don't even let Vinnie Tortorich think for me. I love the guy. I admire him.
That's the worst idea in the world. But listen, letting me think for you. But the bottom line is that people look at a computer now, this new generation, as the end all and be all, and they let it make decisions. My daughter and I were having a political conversation once, and she was on one side of the aisle and I was on the other side about something that they were talking about in politics. And while we were talking, her thumbs were flying because she's younger, and boy, those thumbs can fly on the phone. And I would say, well, Tallulah, that's not true because of this. She would Google something and she would go, no, look at this.
Yeah, confirmation.
I would Google some, and so you can Google yourself right on any issue.
Anything. Yep.
Anything. I mean, you can, take the most, you take the one person that's the biggest lightning rod in the world, Donald Trump, biggest lightning rod. Sure. There is nobody that's mediocre on Donald Trump. They either love him, or they have not just hatred, but a hatred that's so deep is just, nobody's in the middle of nobody goes, yeah, Donald Trump, what do you think? It's like, and when you think about every other president, you had people who loved him, who hated it, but there were people in the middle.
There's been nobody like him. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been, I'm over here or I'm over there, right? So if I went into AI, I'm trying to take it out of glaucoma and health and age and everything. And I go, hey, AI, tell me why Donald Trump is the greatest human being to ever live. It will give me pages as to why Donald Trump is great and wonderful and all these great things he did. Yep. And then all right, let me wipe the thing. AI, tell me why Donald Trump sucks worse than any human being. And AI would just load me up on why Donald Trump. So how can both things be true?
Well,
right?
That's the whole point, though. AI does not have opinions. It does not have convictions. If you say, tell me why Donald Trump is great, by the way, a lot of times they'll say, oh, I can't do that. They'll tell you how great Biden is, but they'll say, oh, unless it's Grok. But the point is they'll try to stay away.
Okay, wait, you just made a political statement in there. So you're saying that not all AI is created equal. Because now you just made my point for me. Yeah, you said, well, AI would say that, we don't have an opinion on Donald Trump, but this other guy who we like is great, except for Grok. You just made a big, without even trying, you just made a big statement.
Well,
right?
It's true. First of all, you're right, Vinny. It is true. There is bias built in. It's first of all, there's bias in the data that they train on, and there's bias in what they do post-training, where they're trying to put in what they call their safety rails or their guardrails, and that's where the flavor, why one AI seems different than the other when they've all trained on essentially the same training set.
Right.
I'm saying even within any given AI. Still, it has no opinion. It has no conviction. It will sound like it does. I'm educating you and educating your people. Just because it sounds like it does, doesn't mean it does. It's however you ask the question. So if you, Vinny, ask me, Lee, tell me how wonderful Weight Watchers and calorie counting is, I will say it's not wonderful. I will push back immediately because I have opinions and convictions. Right. The AI doesn't. So if you say, I want to hear about all the great things about calorie counting and Weight Watchers, it will speak from that point of view.
Right.
Knowing this, you can work with it. It's like you just got to understand what you're dealing with. So if you don't know, like you're in the middle, you're like, Vinny is saying, cut out the sugars, cut out the grains. Okay.
Right.
What's the downside of that? AI, I want you to perform a debate between Vinny and then somebody who disagrees with him. And I want you to play both sides, and I want you to write me a 1,000-word essay. And it will do that. And then you can read both sides, and then you can. So if you use your intelligence to push the AI so that you are better informed, you can become better informed. If you don't.
But you're assuming that most people are you.
No, I'm trying to educate. Most people are not me, and that's
Right.
one of the reasons why I want to talk about it. With a few ideas that I can plant in people's heads, you won't become the AI expert that I am overnight, but you can. It's not. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be an AI expert. You just have to understand a few things, and then you take on responsibility. You're responsible for driving the AI for your purposes.
All right. So let me explain to you why you can scream that from the rafters, and let me explain to you why it's not going to work. How old are you, Lee?
60.
Okay.
You're supposed to go, oh, you don't look 60.
You don't look 60. When you were 15.
Yeah, that sounded convincing.
Hang on, Chris. We're going to get to you because I want to get to the bottom of this whole thing. But when you were 15 years old, Lee, all right, let's go back to when you were 15. How many phone numbers did you have in your head, give or take?
3. My home phone number, my best friend's phone number, my girlfriend's phone number. That's it.
I had probably 20 or 25 off the top of my head. Most people did. I think the average, you can AI that shit. I think the average person back in 1985, I knew my parents' phone number. I knew Pizza Man in New Orleans. Pizza Man, he delivers 866-8611. That was the number. Down in New Orleans, 504-866-8611.
588-2300 Empire.
Right. But you see, we all knew phone numbers. Right. Once we got smartphones, we became dumb.
Yeah, we don't know them anymore.
I don't know. The only number I know besides my own number is my wife's, because those are the numbers that are used when I go shopping at the grocery store and they go, how do you get the discount? And those discounts are always under my wife's number.
Same
As
here.
a matter of fact, when people ask for my number, I accidentally give my wife's number because I barely know my own number. We had 35 in our heads when we were 15. I'm 63, and I have 1.5 numbers in my head. I have a daughter. I don't know her number.
Yep.
I have 3 brothers. I don't know their numbers. I don't know my parents' number on the cell phone. I know their original phone number. Right. So we don't remember numbers, right? We've outsourced that to the cell phone. We now have cars that drive themselves, and people are happy about this. Hey, you don't have to touch the steering wheel. I remember 2 years ago watching around this time of year, because I see commercials at this time of year because I watch football, and GM was like, hey, truck guy. Hey, truck guy, you want a GMC truck? Big, strong, masculine truck dude? Guess what, broski? You don't have to touch the steering wheel. Really? So the truck is driving itself. What could possibly go wrong? Right? Right? And we abuse these things, right? We're de-learning what we once knew. And when people go to AI, they're not going to be Lee Harrington. They're not going to go, AI, I'm going to put this in, I'm going to put that in, give me an argument. They're going to go, just like me, I went there, I'm looking at a new pair of skates. Right? Tell me which ones. And they only had 30% of it correct. Right? Of what I was looking to learn from them. Because they went to Reddit and they went to here and there and all these places where everyone's got a different opinion. Right. So that's Chris. Did you come up with anything? I asked you to look some stuff up.
So all 5 of the major AIs, so Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, and Claude, if you just in a brand new chat with no context of your background, ask what is the best diet, we'll say Mediterranean followed by dash. Right.
Okay.
And this is where it comes back to that old Russian proverb popularized by one Mr. Ronald Reagan, trust but verify, right?
Yeah.
The thing with AI is it can be a useful tool, but to Lee's point, you have to give it context. So as soon as I type in your name, Vinnie, it changes the context of that.
So wait, hang
And
on.
if
When you type in my name next to diet or just my name, explain it further.
So if I start a chat and I ask who is Vinnie Tortorich, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I start asking about diet, it will still say Mediterranean. And then the second response instead of dash will say, according to influencers, and I know you love that word, like Vinnie Tortorich, cutting out sugars and grains can get you a long way there. Right. So even with just a little bit of context in that conversation before you ask that question, it starts moving it in that direction. There's nothing wrong with using AI, but you have to verify the feedback that you're getting from it. Yeah. Or give it context, a lot of context on the front end.
Just like Lee was saying a minute ago, you have to coach it up a little bit. What's the best diet? Oh, let's see, something that Dean Ornish was talking about with his friend Bill Clinton in 1985. And then you go, well, what about Vinnie Tortorich? Okay, you cut out sugars and grains. Yeah.
Right.
But you have to give it that information.
But here's the thing to think of, Vinnie. What answer are people going to get when they go to their doctor and say, what's the best diet?
Well, they're going to get 75-year-old information because that's what's been out there.
Okay, but a doctor is a qualified human being responsible for the truthfulness of what they say. And they're still not giving out great information. I only say that because, like, when you look at the weaknesses of AI, I'm saying even the weaknesses of AI have to be put into a context, right? So most people will go to their doctor and say, I need to lose weight. What do I need to do? And they're going to move more and, eat less and move more. That's really bad advice. But they went to a really good source and they still got really bad advice.
Sure. So well, here's the mistake in that, Lee. You're assuming that a doctor is a good source of nutrition information. Doctors aren't trained in nutrition.
But
it's an authoritative source.
It's
not
an
necessarily a good source.
But as Lee is saying, and he's correct, people trust their doctors, and rightly so. I mean, doctors have saved my life twice, but they don't know anything. I have friends who are doctors. Hell, my GP is, we go to dinner with these people. They know what my bent is on all of this, but they still believe something else. Right? They think I'm a
and that I think it's the same thing with AI, right? I have more credits in nutrition than most doctors do. Right? From Penn State. I think the number, Vinnie, when you and I looked at it once, was less than 12 credits in nutrition is what the average medical school includes in the curriculum, and that included the bachelor's degree. So just because you wouldn't go to your GP to ask about a problem with your truck,
right?
But because diet is integrally related to health, people assume that their doctor, just like they assume that AI will tell them everything, they assume that their doctor is the best source of information about that. Your doctor is probably the best source of information about how to fix your broken leg or how to fight the cancer that you have, yada, yada, yada. Not necessarily the nutrition thing because they're not trained in it. The same thing applies to AI. If you give it the context of you are, and Lee, I think you said not an alternative health practitioner, but a functional health practitioner, right? Then it will color that language through the database that it has to say, okay, here's what people who call themselves functional health educators, like a Vinnie Tortorich, a Jason Fung, all of these people, it will filter out it'll move you outside of the mean or of the average, right? Into that level of information. And that, I think, is the thing most people miss. And I'm glad that's the point that you brought up, Lee. Most people miss that with AI. And if you just come at it a question with a generic question of what's the best diet, well, the database says that the Mediterranean diet is the best diet without any filtering, because that's just what everybody says, despite the fact that no one can actually tell you what the real Mediterranean diet is.
Because it's not actually a diet.
It's a marketing.
Right.
Well, but here's the thing. Even if I go to a dietitian, matter of fact, I have gone to a dietitian, sent there by my diabetes specialist. Go learn from this person on how to eat. And what does she teach me? The My Plate. And I'm like, you're giving me 60% of my calories are going to come from carbs when I'm a diabetic. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut out the sugars and grains, and eat a lot of fatty meat. She looked at me like I had strangled a puppy right in front of her.
Right.
Well, I've only been educating diabetics for 40 years, so what do I know? I said, well, you know how to keep people diabetic for 40 years. I did not say that part out loud. But
right. But you see, even if you did, she would just write you off as a kook and people just move on.
So where I'm getting at, you still have to have agency. I'm just trying to take AI out of the mystic of somehow there's something special about talking to an AI that could mislead you, that is not also true of every human you also talk to. And I'm saying, I'm trying to give you tools to get better results. These tools will help anybody who follows them to get better results. It will not cure the fact that, one, the people who don't hear me don't use these tools, and
right.
Some of the people who hear me don't understand these tools, but that doesn't put them in danger. That just leaves them where they already were, at the mercy of sources of information that they don't vet themselves, they don't think themselves. And I don't have a solution for that, but I'm not going to not benefit from AI simply because other people, they're not helping themselves no matter what I do.
Well, again, people will help themselves as much as they help themselves, right? And we'll make that the final word because we have so many people in here. But, and what I mean by that is, it goes back to what I said earlier in this conversation. You can Google yourself right? You don't have to be right, but you can just, hey, AI said, so therefore it is. Anyway, Lee, it was great talking to you, man.
Great talking to you as always.
And thanks for that information, Chris.
Yeah. So AI, like anything else, Vinny, it comes down to how you use it.
Yeah.
Right. If you have a bunch of dumbbells sitting in the corner and you don't do anything with them, you're not going to get in better shape. If
Correct.
you're just standing there staring at them, it does nothing to build your muscles.
Yeah.
People, because of the perceived authority of AI, to Lee's point, will always lean towards, oh, I'm just going to ask this really generic question. If you ask a generic question to anybody, you're going to get a generic answer.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you think of AI as someone who has a lot of knowledge on a lot of things, just think of your smartest friend. If you ask them a very generic question, you're going to get a very generic answer. But with a normal human being, you wouldn't just take whatever answer they give you and not ask a follow-up question. So if you're going to use AI, whether it's for trying to figure out a specific situation that you're in or whatever, just provide it with that context, to Lee's point, and you'll get a much higher quality answer. You still have to trust but verify. And if you're using something like a Perplexity or a ChatGPT, a lot of times now you'll get the direct sources that you can then go check to verify that they're doing that right. And to your point earlier, Vinny, you said, the Google AI overview seems like hot garbage, which is funny because if you go directly to Google's AI, which is called Gemini, you get a much better answer. But a lot of times that AI overview, if you're on Google, will be contradictory within its own answer. It'll say, oh, this is 500 miles away.
It goes down to people just go to the one source they can go to, and then that's that. And then, I brought him up, Chris. I brought him up on stage. Yeah. Because we do have to move on, because I could do this AI conversation all day. Folks, Villa Capelli olive oil is the best olive oil on the planet. And I'm saying that because they pay me. But not only because they pay me to say it, I was saying it before they ever gave me a dime. We found Villa Capelli and we talked about them for a whole year without any payment, because this olive oil is great. There's no seed oil mixed in. That's right. In America, the good old US of A, you can mix in 40% seed oil and still call it pure, unadulterated olive oil. That ain't right, folks. You want the good stuff. Villa Capelli at checkout, put in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, no wimpy Y, and you'll save 10% every single time. So go to villacapelli.com, promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, no wimpy Y. It's the Friday show. It's the call-in show. And we have Mark Z, or as they would say in England, Mark Z. How's it going, Mark?
It's going good. I think we talked yesterday. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. So how's it been going since yesterday?
Pretty good. We went out to dinner last night. It was date night, so that's why I missed the group call, but did pretty good. Steak, sauteed mushrooms and onions,
Good.
raw salad. I had a Caesar salad with light dressing on it, and you're right, you could taste the seed oils all over it, but ate a little bit of it.
I hate to sound like this. And by the way, Mark was my 9 o'clock call yesterday morning, or 9 o'clock my time. And Mark is. We've spoken a few, well, 2 or 3 times. Mark, how many?
Oh, 4 or 5 actually
Yeah,
over the years.
I can't ever remember. But it was like a long break, and then we started talking again. And I really enjoy my conversation. I love doing those consults. And I always really enjoy our conversations because you're one of those people, Mark, that you take it and you run with it, right? Like we talked back before this. I think November was it? And
Yes.
yeah, and we had I said, hey, you had Mark had the worst year in the world. We won't get into it as Mark's private thing, but when I tell you Mark had the worst year on known to man. I can't imagine anyone having a worse year. Like if it was going to happen to you, it happened to Mark, and he pulled through it, right? And I just want to say, Mark, I'm proud of you, brother. But getting back to your seed oils and everything, my wife and I barely go out to restaurants anymore because you can't avoid the crap. And I get it. Restaurants need to do what they have to do. There's a very small margin. Even if you go to the finest restaurants, right? Of course, the finer restaurants where they're charging you $1 bazillion, they're going to use real butter and this and that and the whole thing. But if they could get away with a seed oil and a salad, they're doing it, right? Mm-hmm. They're definitely not. If you order like, I don't know, something way off the reservation, like fried calamari, I'm never eating that in a restaurant because I know it ain't made with beef tallow. No way, no how. That's seed oil central. Unless you go up to my buddy, Kurt Lapeard. I think he uses tallow in his deep fryers now. By the way, folks, eating deep fried food is not your friend. But when you go to a restaurant, these kind of things happen, right, Mark? I mean,
yes, sir.
And it's like that old Seinfeld joke. When you get there, you're starving. It's like, bring everything. I want everything. And then you're full and they bring you the bill. It's like, I don't want to pay for this. I'm full. Right? It's like that's what we do in life. Right? It's like, I'll take it all. And it's like, wait a minute, I didn't need it all. I could have really paid attention. So the easiest way for me is to not even walk into the restaurant to begin with. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did have a question, though. Yesterday, we talked about lowering triglycerides. What's the best way to do that?
Cut out all grains. All grains.
Yeah.
And potatoes. So I'm going to give a cartoon version of it since you have a Mickey Mouse shirt on. And Mark, you and your wife did the 13. Did you do the 13?
Yeah, we did. We completed the half.
A half
last weekend. Yeah, we're supposed to do the full also.
Yeah. Is that the Goofy challenge?
That's the Goofy. That's a Goofy. Yeah. I've done Dopey 5 times, which adds a 5 and a 10K in there.
Yeah. Let's explain that to the audience before we get to your question. The Dopey, the Goofy, and explain what they are, Mark.
Okay, so you're at Disney World along with 50,000, 60,000 of your closest friends that you don't know. Mm-hmm. And on Wednesday, you go to this massive bib pickup expo. You get a number. You go out into a corral. They put you in a corral on Thursday morning at 4 a.m. and you run a 5K, which is 3 miles.
Right.
And then the next day, you get up and you do it all over again. 4 a.m., you run 6.2 miles. You run a 10K. Mm-hmm. Then Saturday, you get up. They make it a little earlier, still 4 a.m. You're up by 1 o'clock in the morning. Get on a bus, get out on a corral, and 30,000 people, you're running a half marathon. And then on Sunday, you get up again at 4 a.m. gun start. you're running a full marathon 26.2. So you run 48.6 miles in a week. If you're doing dopey, if you're doing it all, if you're doing goofy, it's only 39.3 miles. And then we go to the parks too. You know, we're down there. You might as well go out and ride some things, see some things. We walked an additional 50, I think my wife said 56, 57 miles that week on top of the other.
I love that you guys do it together. I know your wife has been working on her health and her struggles and the whole thing. The fact that you guys get out there and do it together, man, it makes a big difference. But let's get back to your question. I just wanted the audience to know, yes, you could go to Disney World and be healthy. They have the Goofy, the Daffy.
I think we talked yesterday. I ate buffets all week.
No.
But what I did was they had beef on skewers that they were cutting.
Yeah.
You know, roast beef. I had roast beef. I had fish. I had everything but, you know, I could get a salad and not any dressing on it.
Yeah, you could do the right thing at Disney World. It's just a little more difficult when they have funnel cakes everywhere. I'm assuming, I haven't been there for 30 years, but all right, triglycerides. You could take it from 400 down to under 100 in record time, like within weeks. And people will go, what? Really? Oh, yeah. So triglycerides are fat, right? So, so basically what you're doing, and it's caused by turning a carbohydrate into a long chain triglyceride, right? We can store sugar that way as a fat. So let's take simple sugar, and we're going to use for an example of simple sugar, like a bowl of sugar. Okay. So let's say you took a tablespoon and you put a big heaping tablespoon of sugar in your mouth. It melts on your tongue. And if you had a CGM, you would notice that your blood would spike really fast. You know, depending on how well you can tolerate sugar, it might go up to 120. If you are metabolically broken, you might see 150, 160, 170, but it's going up. And your body is going to drop insulin to try to cover that sugar as quickly as it can. Okay. And since it's just 1 tablespoon, it'll probably handle it really well. It's going to stick some blood, more sugar in your blood, in your liver, what have you. Not a whole lot of that will end up in your fat cells, right? Because it was a simple sugar. It got burned. Think if you took like a Kleenex and threw it in the fireplace, it would flame really fast, right? Okay. Now you got yourself some bread, pasta, rice. The ones that the dietitians would tell you are actually complex carbs, the ones that are good for you, according to them. Going back to what Lee Harrington was saying a while back, right? According to them, these are the good ones, but they're not, because you're not going to get a sugar spike from bread. You're going to get what's called a glycogen load. So your blood sugar goes up with the bread or the pasta or the rice, beans, any of the complex carbs, and it's going to stay up for hours. Because, you know, the dietitians will tell you this part, your stomach just keeps releasing it into, you know, your intestines, your body, your liver gets it, and you have to keep dumping insulin on it. But guess what? Your sugar stores are already filled. So you got yourself a problem. Your body's got to do something with it. So it changes it into a long chain triglyceride and stores it as a fat. But since you can't store fat that fast, it mingles around in your blood. So let me give you real life. You wake up in the morning, you have your oatmeal. Hey, Vinnie, what's wrong with oatmeal? My grandfather lived to be 100. He had oatmeal every day. Okay. And then for lunch, you have a hamburger, you have the bread on it, this and that, and the whole thing. You know, hey, Vinnie, what's wrong with that? It's just a little bread. Okay, now you're keeping your triglycerides up for breakfast. Right when they're dipping down, you're bringing them back up for lunch. Let's say you're down in New Orleans, you had your red beans and rice, because that's what they eat every Monday, right? That's going to keep it up. So you're always throwing more triglycerides into your bloodstream, and your bloodstream has not even cleared out the last mess. And guess what? Right when that's getting ready to drop again, you got yourself some dinner and you're eating carbs again, and you're eating complex carbs. That's why triglycerides stay up. That's why when I talk to 500 and 600 pound people, their triglycerides are 400, 500, right? And I'll say, we're going to get them under 100. And they'll say, Vinny, I haven't seen them under 250 since I can remember, right? And I'm taking this drug and that drug and the other drug. It helps that you run and you exercise so much, but again, you've heard me say this before. You cannot outrun a bad diet.
Mm-hmm.
And you never will. No one has. We got people that ride bicycles across the United States. They'll walk across the United States backwards on their hands. Guess what they don't do? You can't outrun a bad diet. I've seen people with cellulite do it. You see people on the Santiago over in Spain, right? They go walk to Santiago, and they're fatter when they get to the end of it, depending on which version that they do. They end up fatter than when they started, because every night they just keep carbing up again. Keep those triglycerides high. Keep that fat going, man. Keep that system in a frail state. That's what's happening, Mark. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. So absolutely the opposite of what they tell you for a runner's diet.
Yeah. 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 Look, and back in the 80s, I was that guy. I used to go run the races. I did triathlons. I was doing bicycle races, running races. I was doing it all after college football. And they were actually doing a thing back then where they would say, hey, you want to, and I'm not making this up. You're going to think I'm making this up. They will go, okay, you want you want to get more carbohydrates in your blood than you would normally get. So you would eat carbs throughout your whole training. But let's say the race was on a Saturday. There was a protocol. And you folks, go back, if you think I'm kidding, go buy old runners magazines and all this kind of stuff. They gave you a prescription. On Tuesday, cut out all carbohydrates and just eat protein. By Wednesday, you're going to be very, very agitated and upset, but just eat proteins. Do not eat one carb. On Thursday, boom. And then on Friday night, you want to do what they were calling a carb feed, a carb load. And somehow your body was going to super saturate what was going on. And then that's what was happening. Right. So, when you hear that now, you go, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Right. But the only way you're going to get your weight down, exercise won't do it. Right. You gotta do what you got to do.
Yeah, but I used to be 300 pounds.
Yeah, you don't look 300 pounds to me, brother.
No, I'm 220-ish.
Yeah, and we talked yesterday what we need to get you down to. We got to get you down some more.
Because it's going to happen. I'm going to play your favorite sport after this.
Which is? It's my favorite sport. Football?
I was going to say pickleball, but...
There you go, Chris.
Mark, just when I thought I was liking you, Jesus Christ. Really?
No, yeah, really.
Go on. Enjoy your pickleball. You and my buddy Rob over here. Yeah, you guys with your pickleball, third world tennis. Go enjoy your pickleball.
All right. And I got 6 miles to run today too. So
what are you doing talking to me? And you got football to watch tonight? Come on, Mark. Go do something.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, sir.
Nice talking to you. Chris, I love that guy, man. We do consults. By the way, folks, I still do the consults 5 days a week. If you want to sign up, VinnieTortorich.com, click on a button somewhere, and you can sign up for the consultation. Mark has done several. Look, he used to be in the 300s. He's now 220, and we're going to break into the 100s at some point with that guy. We're getting close. So we will keep you posted on Mark. Let's see who we had here. We got one Mr. Corey. Corey, how's it going, man?
How's it going, man?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Yeah. Yeah. So how's it going, brother?
It's going good. Hey, so we had a conference call, or I had a call into you probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Oh, you're that Corey. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
that Corey. Yeah. Yeah. Still alive.
Yeah. Still here.
Still here. I was originally diagnosed back then with heart failure. At that point, the doctors I was seeing gave me a 50-50 chance of living between 3 and 5 years. And like I said, that's been 3 years ago.
Oh, you're still here, and you look
Still
pretty
here.
good.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Not bad. Better.
Yeah. So tell us about the heart failure. That's a big chunk there. Go on.
I found it by fluke. Listening to you guys. I was listening to you and Anna Vicino, and you were talking about your CAC scores. And it's whenever I first started getting on the journey for the NSNG.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go get my CAC score to get a baseline.
Mm-hmm.
That test came back good. My baseline then was, I say good, it was 7. They did an EKG at that time, and they noticed something a little bit off. They said it could be something, could be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So they had me come back in for an echocardiogram, and my ejection fraction was between 30 and 35%. It's supposed to be between 55 and 60%, somewhere around there is healthy individual.
Mm-hmm.
I was high danger of sudden cardiac death, but completely asymptomatic. I work in the oil field, hard worker, get after it every day. Don't have any of the shortness of breath or any of those things. So it kind of come out of nowhere. And like I said, really very fortunate that I went and got the testing done, because had I not, I would have known there was any problems at all.
So I've learned a few terms because I watched Landman. You work in the patch?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, you work in the patch. Are you a landman, or what do you do?
No, I actually do the work. I haul crude oil from well site to pipeline.
All right. Yeah, I used to go with my grandfather to drop bulk mud at the sites, because they got to send that mud down there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they still doing that? They still packing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I started doing that General Mud out of Donaldsonville, Louisiana. And I learned how to drive when I was like 12. My grandfather, they had those old Mack trucks,
Yeah.
And they had the 2 sticks on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And people go, oh, I can't drive stick shift. It's like, shit, I learned how to drive a big giant truck with 2 sticks. Yeah. And there's a moment when you got to take both hands off the steering wheel to move both of those sticks at the same time.
Yeah, you hook your arm through the steering wheel. That way you can still keep the directional control.
Yeah, because those trucks, you would kind of bounce in them because those seats weren't like my brother is a truck guy. So they got those new seats that,
they're right.
And they got power steering on those trucks and everything now. But those old Mack trucks, you were jumping around. It was like a tractor. It was like the old farm mall because, I lived on the farm. The old farm mall, you got about that much play in the wheel. It was like that, driving a truck down the road. And I was 12. My grandfather was like, just keep it between the lines. I was like,
steering at that point is more of a suggestion than a direction.
Oh, it wasn't even a suggestion. It was a guessing game. It was a complete guessing game. But man, I remember those days. Those are the kind of things that makes a boy a man.
Absolutely.
You're out there, it's cold. There's no heat in those old trucks, and you're going out to the rigs at 2 a.m. with these, pallets on the back of a truck. And, that's why I ended up I got a CDL. People go, why did you ever have a CDL? It's like, I was so into driving. I knew I thought I would be a truck driver when I grew up. That's all I wanted to do is be like, Smokey and the Bandit.
Jerry Reed.
Yeah. Jerry Reed. I don't have my Cat Diesel hat here. A fan sent me a Cat Diesel hat. I've been wearing it a lot lately. But yeah. Oh my God, I love you, man. So you made it 3 years.
Yeah.
You're still here. All right. What did you do different? What are they telling you now?
So first thing I did was change cardiologists, because whenever I started talking to them about supplementation, I got Steven Sinatra's book. He's no longer with us, but I got his book. He'd been on your show before. I started heading down that road, cleaning up how I was eating, got on good supplements, not stuff from a big box store. I found a functional cardiologist here in Oklahoma. They're really hard to find. And there's actually only one in the state of Oklahoma. So I got with her, and Dr. Barger, she got me on a lot of supplements. I'm on some of your supplements now. Finding clean magnesium is really hard to find. Even the magnesium she had me on had stearate in it.
Yeah, which blocks the rest of the magnesium. It's crazy.
Right.
She should be selling purevitaminclub.com. You could talk to her. Chris, we can hook her up, right? We don't make any money on that, but we'd be more than happy to, we're a retail company, but we could do some wholesale, right, Chris? Just get it to her.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah, I definitely will bring that up with her because it blocks the absorption of the others. And, you take your leak first thing in the morning, it's neon green. You're losing some of that.
Yeah, you're getting rid of all the vitamins. I don't think people realize how bad magnesium stearate is for your system. So I don't want to get into a vitamin conversation, but talk to your doctor, and if she's into it, talk to Chris at purevitaminclub.com. Again, we don't make it. I'm a retail company, right? I make these things. It costs me a ton to make them, so I can only retail them. But if I could break even on wholesale after shipping, we'll get them to her. And she can make a buck, and she'll be selling the good stuff.
Yeah.
So
one of the areas that not that she fails in, but it's just not her expertise. And luckily the VIP program just opened back up with the workouts. I love my doctor to death. She's 5'1" and maybe weighs 98 pounds. So I'm 6'5". Originally, whenever I talked to you, I was in the 330 neighborhood. I'm 268 this morning, something like that. Heavyweight to me and heavyweight to her are two different things. She had originally told me, hey, don't be lifting anything over 35 pounds. Some of my tools weigh more than her.
Right.
So I've struggled trying to find out, how do I make sure I'm working out hard enough without pushing too hard and putting that cardiovascular stress on myself? Is there
all right. So this is precarious for me to even talk about because
correct. Yeah, I understand.
You have a real situation. So I'm guessing, and you can write this word down. I'm guessing she doesn't want you to do Valsalva maneuvers. 2 words, Valsalva, VALSALVA. Second word, maneuver, just like, a maneuver. Right. I'm guessing she doesn't want a Valsalva maneuver is a straining. You take a dump, woman has a baby, you lift something heavy. Those are called Valsalva maneuvers. And basically what it does is it momentarily cuts off oxygen to your brain, blood, which means oxygen to your brain to be used within the rest of the body. And usually when someone has heart failure, as you do, or the possibility thereof, you want to protect that as much as possible. I'm guessing that's what she's talking about.
Yeah, anything like trying to reach a PB, bench press, or squatting, anything like that.
You can't do that. Yeah, you cannot do that. Whatever you can breathe through, she's probably okay with, but I want you to ask her that. Because
and that's what we've talked about that, and that's exactly. I actually went and bought Dr. Bimbo Kikio's book that I could use lower weights.
You cannot use Bimbo Kikio's method because all that always gets to every rep ends in a Valsalva maneuver. As a matter of fact, my 2-day routine in my workouts, all of them, you got to stop shy of that.
Right.
You have to breathe through every rep and try to wear your muscles out that way. You cannot go to failure.
Okay.
See, right now I'm batting right now I'm a hero with you because 3 years later you're still alive and you've lost weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to become a zero, and I'm pretty sure you don't want to lose your life.
Right.
Right. So you got to really pay attention. So ask her that word. It's like, do you just not want me to get to this? how hard can I actually go? Because she's right. I mean, I know some, you ever work with drill bits out there on those things are heavy. Yeah. Those things, 2 or 3 guys have to lift that thing.
Yes.
Just hauling sacks of bulk mud is, those things are over 100 pounds, right? Most of them. You got to ask her what you can do.
Okay.
Because you don't want to weaken your heart. You want to keep strengthening your heart. And one thing that's going to help strengthen your heart, do you have aerobic equipment in your home?
I have a cheap version of like an Airdyne.
It doesn't have to be expensive. Your body doesn't know what you paid for a piece of equipment.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. I learned that a long time ago. I've bought expensive weights and I bought cheap weights. Turns out they both weigh the same amount.
Right.
Right. Fortunately, the best rowing machine in the world is also one of the least expensive, the Concept 2.
Yeah.
About $800-900. You can buy those other things at $2,000 and they suck. Right. Yeah. So if you do your Airdyne, don't do blocks. I know, you go listen to Gary Breck and some of these guys and Peter Tia. Got to do a block. You got to do 4 minutes. That ain't for you. I need you in zone 2. I need you to strengthen your heart.
Yeah.
You have to be, this is going to be a kumbaya moment, but here goes.
Here we go.
You got to be kind to your body.
Yeah.
Right. Do you drink alcohol?
No.
Good. Alcohol is not your friend. Do you smoke the occasional cigar, this kind of thing? Good.
No, not at all.
You put a little dip in your mouth. Your friends got it over at the rig. Let me get a little nicotine in it. Good. None of that stuff is good for you.
Right.
It's all off the table for you. Right. So stay with that. And I think you're going to be fine. I think I can remain a hero for at least another 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, look, I get it. You're 6'5" and you're 260. You're still too heavy, brother.
Way too big. Yeah.
Yeah. We need you below 230.
Whenever I came home from Iraq, I was 220, 215. So I know that's attainable.
Yeah. You could get back there.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service. We need to get you back there. Any other questions before I let you go?
No, I just want to say while I got you on here, I really appreciate everything you put out there, and it means a lot. I've got a bunch of small kids that I'm still here to be here for. So, thank you.
Good, and I think you said you're in the VIP group, or you're in VIP?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good, and I heard you say you could get the workouts. Those workouts, you get them, use them for your kids too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Get your kids on those damn things. You're in the middle of Oklahoma. Life don't get easy. You guys can have another damn dust bowl happen out there or something.
Tornadoes.
Tornadoes. You got all kinds of crap happening out there. So you take your life in your own hands when you live out there.
You're from Louisiana, man. Home of everything creepy and crawly. So.
Well, no, I grew up in a place that the only place that rivals us is Australia when it comes to like weird shit that can kill you. Yeah. All right. So, Chris, I'm going to do a sign off on this, and we're going to pick up with the brand new show. We're going to come back with Mo in just a minute. Corey, it was great talking to you, brother.
Great talking to you. Thank you.
All right. Folks, you know what to do. We all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner, puts a little coal on the fire, it gets my train down the track, and we're able to keep the show free for 1,000 million bazillion years in a row. Also, go to VinnieTortorich.com and get the workouts. They're all there. I'm shocked at how they've been received. People are all over these workouts. Go right now, get the workouts, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a 2-day, a 4-day, and a 6-day routine. I'm shocked that everybody's buying the package where you get all the workouts in one. I'm shocked at how that's working out. So on behalf of Corey and Lee and who else? Mark and everybody that was on, put life into living and do it with enthusiasm.